Over the next 48 hours, I'm going to be starting a business with absolutely no money, and here's how I'm going to do it. So if you saw this prior video on my channel, then the business I'm going to talk about will sound familiar to you. I am going to be designing and selling business cards. And the plan for this business breaks down into 3 simple steps. The first step of this plan is to design a set of business cards for my portfolio. Then the second step of this plan is to take that portfolio and show it to clients who I think may be interested. Then step 3 is designing, shipping, and printing the cards to the client. On paper, this sounds really easy, but with a budget of absolutely $0, this might be tough. Let's get started. All right, so as I just mentioned, step 1, we have to actually design the business cards. I don't have the best graphic design skills, but I am very familiar with the platform Canva, so that is what we're going to be using today. So we just need to hop inside of Canva and start building up our portfolio. I started off online trying to figure out what a good business card looks like, so I went to the internet, checked some things out, and I really didn't waste too much time. I figured the best way to get a good looking card was just to start and kind of experiment. And as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm messing around with things. And it was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be to make some designs because Canva is really easy to use, and I did get the Canva Pro, which will be built into like the price of what I charge the client. So still $0, you know, but temporarily, of course. And I ended up making 2 different designs. One was a horizontal one, the other one was a vertical one. I figured didn't need to spend too much more time on this. And all right, step 1 of our plan is now done. I just finished up the mock-ups. I only went with 2. I did 1 landscape and 1 vertical. I don't think we need any more than that because they're just proofs of concept. So I probably only spent about an hour total. For the style of cards I made, I went with a very minimalist style. I'm sure it would take longer if you wanted to do something that was pretty aggressive, but there's no need to do that until we actually have a client even know what they want. Otherwise, there's just no point. So we don't want to waste too much time on this part with such a short time frame. We really need to get into finding an actual client, which is what we're going to do now. As far as finding a client goes, the strategy for this is I have to reach out to people I know first off, because going out there and making a website, there's probably no point. It's going to take way too much time. I'll probably have to pay for sponsorships to even be seen on Google or other search engines. I think it's going to be much faster if we just try and reach out to people that have small businesses. I find numbers online or go to people I know. I have a couple ideas of people I can already reach out to and see if they need any business cards. Gonna give them a really quick pitch, just tell them how it might be able to help their business and see where it goes from there. I wasted no time and figured the best way to get a client was to reach out to as many people I knew as possible. Most of the people I reached out to honestly said they didn't want anything to do with it, which is okay. That's fine. I knew rejection would be a part of the process. But one guy by the name of Colby actually responded saying that he might be interested. Colby runs a clothing and shoe resale business, so I thought Colby might be the perfect candidate for actually needing business cards, considering most of his business is run through local deals where you need to know his number and information. We decided to schedule a call for tomorrow afternoon to try and figure out all the details. This was a pretty exciting moment. I was ready to try and close a deal, but there was also just one problem. I had no idea what to charge. So I took some time to figure out how much it would cost me to design and print cards in a lot of different quantities, and I had to figure out where I actually was going to print them and ship them and everything like that I just had not considered until right now. I ended up writing down how much it would cost me to design and print various different quantities to ensure I was knowledgeable and didn't make a fool of myself when we were on the call. After a good amount of time doing the research and figuring out exactly what I wanted to sell them for, I was now feeling prepared to go onto the call and figure out exactly what Colby's needs were. And we hopped onto the call, started talking and figuring it out, and it actually went really well. Colby explained exactly what he needed and what his business was all about, and I assured him I was able to help him. I wish I had the audio from that FaceTime, but when I was doing the FaceTime recording, I did not realize it doesn't capture the audio. But to summarize, we talked about the use of his logo, getting some preliminary information, and basically general guidelines of what he wanted the cards to look like, how many he needed, and working out the price. Big shout out to Colby for working with me in this video. But yeah, he sent the payment over and I got to work right away on designing his cards. All right, it has been a couple hours since I had that phone call with Colby. We had gone back and forth on a couple of different design mock-ups for his actual cards and just getting everything the exact right way and confirming information. And I'm happy to say that all that's left to do is to actually print and ship out the cards. Which brings us to the final step, is actually figuring out how we are going to be printing these cards and actually fulfilling the order? Well, the answer to this is really simple. With that Canva Pro I bought for the purpose of this challenge, we are going to be shipping through that service. They do a lot of different cool variations. Colby in total wanted about 1,000 cards, and so Canva could support that. So I'm going to grab Colby's information and I am going to ship out the products, and I will be right back when that is done. All right, and we are back. That took barely 5 minutes to actually fulfill and ship and print out. That was a really easy process. Canva was a great tool for this, and as of 4:51 p.m. on day 2 of the challenge, so not even a full 36 hours from when I initially started this challenge, we have successfully found and created a product and sold it and completed the transaction with our first client. Feels really cool, and it was actually a lot easier than I expected. There were a lot of unknowns, but the biggest takeaway from this is that you have to take action fast. There were a lot of questions I had about trying to do this challenge that if I had not just tried to figure it out right away and just kept sitting and thinking on it, I would have never gotten anything done, which ultimately led to the first sale, which is awesome. I think another great thing for anyone who wants to start their own business is definitely just start and try and see what you're good at. I knew that my graphic design skills were okay, and I figured business cards were an easy enough thing to start that I figured at least someone in my sphere of influence could use, and I was correct. I'm sure there were a couple more people I could have found to increase my number of sales, or in theory I could have started a website, but all those things would have taken a lot of extra time, and this video served as a proof of concept for that video up there, and I'm really proud of how we did. I mean, in under 24 hours we were able to create and sell essentially a business card design and fulfillment business. So I would encourage anyone who's looking to start a business, maybe don't try and go for the largest issue ever. At least figure out what you can solve that you can get money almost right away. But let's talk about some key takeaways. Let's talk about how the breakdown works of exactly how much we sold these cards for and all of our costs. So Soul Connect LLC, or Colby's company, make sure to go check him out right here, paid me $130 USD for the cards. Canva charged me personally just over $100 after tax to ship them to Colby. And then if you factor in Canva Pro, which was $12.99 a month, that brings us to just about $115 in total costs, with our total profit being a grand total of $15. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you consider that we just started this idea less than 2 days ago, and we already have created something that makes money, and now I could totally expand it to a website or things like that. Again, as I had mentioned earlier, that I didn't want to do when I only had 2 days. My main goal of this challenge was just to try and get the first sale as fast as possible, and we did that. We did that in a great amount of time. I honestly didn't know if we totally would be able to do it, but we got it. I'm extremely happy with how this challenge went. And to anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur or start their own business, my only advice to you is that you have to start. You can only take in so much information before you have to actually start taking action and being consistent with your action. But yeah, not gonna get too preachy. Let me know if you guys want to follow up by commenting. Also comment what you thought in general. Consider subscribing if you like entrepreneurship, the stock market, other cool stuff like that. Like this video if you like money, and thanks.